Hey guys, what's up? My name is Jordi and welcome to my course. In this video lesson I'm going to show you several toys for the DSLR camera. A lot of manufacturers started to create small toys for the DSLR camera because the camera itself is also a small camera. Some very common toys, like I always say, are mini jips, mini Steadicams and a mini slider, and I'm going to take a look at those toys with you. So what is so great about these toys? First of all, they are small, just as their camera, and they are also relative cheap, and that is what makes them so interesting. Now you've got a lot of brands, but some brands just produce too cheap material, so you really have to pay attention for that. And some brands just make overpriced toys. So also that is something you need to pay attention for. So which accessory is the best then? Well, just search on the internet and you can find many reviews. People will tell you whether the product is good or just overpriced. Alright, let's take a look at the slider, and that is my first thing. And I have one myself right here. You can see this as a mini dolly. You know, the camera goes on here and you can just slide from the left to the right or from the right to the left. And it has these little stands here so that you can put it anywhere you want. You can also add a tripod in the middle or on the end sides of it. When you have a tripod in the middle, it's very handy. So because you can tilt the head of your tripod so that you can make crooked dollies or slides, or you can even mount it vertically so that you can do lift shots. Now, a slider is one of those toys that I really recommend to have. This one is the Canova slider and it cost me around $400. Now, this is really worth its money. I've been using this a lot and it's a great slider. Now, when you are searching for a slider on the market, you need to pay attention to the rails of the slider. Some go smooth and some of them don't. And also you need to look at what you are using the slider for. If you are using the slider for areas that has a lot of dust or sand, etc., then the Canova slider isn't maybe the best choice for you because it has its rails inside the slider. So it's hard to maintain the bars. Now, it does come with these oil brackets here to clean the rails. But if you have the rails on the outside, and you can look at things like Kessler, that brand, they have their rails on the outside, and then it's really easy to just clean that if any dust or sand comes on it. Now, I like the Canova slider a lot because it's very small, and therefore it's very easy to use in reportages or work where you have to do things fast. All right. The next thing I want to show you is a skater dolly. And I have a picture right here on the keynote. This here is a skater dolly, also from Canova. Now, this is also a great device, but you need to ask yourself, is it worth it? Because this only works on real flat floors, or for example on a pool table or something. And then it comes in very handy because you've got all the place, you know, you can skate or ride whatever you want. You're not fixed to those rails. You can make turns or whatever you want. Now, of course, you need a flat surface. If you're not sure you always have that, then really buy a slider. You're going to be much more pleased with that than a skater dolly. But it's there so that you know it exists. All right, then the next thing I want to talk about is the mini jib. And that's also a great thing, and I'm thinking about that for my next investment because you can make really professional shots on such a thing. Again, it doesn't cost much because it only needs to hold a small camera that can produce great images, the DSLR camera. You can find great jibs for around, again, $400, $500 or euros. Now, what you do need to pay attention for is its movement, the head on the end of the jib. A lot of brands provide that, but not all of them. When you have a fixed head on the top, it's worthless. Then don't buy that jib. You really need to be able to also pan tilt the head on the end of the jib, not only on the tripod itself. Now, that's very important. Okay, when we are doing a lifting shot, we would like to pan with the subject so that we don't film the sky. All right. Then the next thing I want to talk about is the Steadicam, and this is also something very fun to use. And I have one myself right here. So this here is the mini Steadicam, and this thing just cost me around, I don't know, $200, I think it was. And the amazing thing about this is that it's cheap, so why not? I just thought, I'm just going to buy it and see what it does, how it works. And it actually performs pretty well, because you just put your camera on here, and when you buy it, you get all the instructions normally with it on how to balance it. You've got these knots here to balance your camera, also the weights down below, how many weights you have to put on it, etc. Now, how it works is you have this axis right here, and you can go all the way with it. So that means whenever you do things like that, your Steadicam will always be still, fixed. Now, of course, this is a relatively cheap Steadicam. There are better ones out there. This is a fly cam from Pro Aim or Cinecity or something. I think it's the cheapest on the market you can find. Now, you can't really go wrong with $200. There are better ones out there for $1,000. You can also buy a harness for this small Steadicam. You have this hole in here, and you can put it on a harness so that you really have smooth images. But then again, I wonder myself, you are working with a small camera with the harness and all that kind of stuff. You are again looking at prices around $1,000, maybe $2,000. Ask yourself, is that worth it? All right, and then finally, I want to show you the car mount. Now, you're probably wondering, now, isn't this very specific? Do I really need something like that? Well, there are two ways to use this. First of all, on the outside, external, like you can see in this picture, but you can also mount it on the inside of a car. And that makes sure that whenever you want to do shots like in a car from someone who's driving, that the image is really stable. That's something you just can't get while filming on your shoulder or trying to put a tripod in the car, which in most cases don't work because you just don't have enough space. So then that accessory is amazing, and it won't cost you a lot. A Pro Aim, again, their prices are around, I think this even goes out for $150, but I'm not sure. Alright guys, these were some of the accessories or DSLR toys, as I call them, that are being used a lot in the industry, in the film industry. So now you have an idea of what there is. For each thing there are a lot of brands, and like I said before, just try to watch reviews on the internet because there are just so many manufacturers out there. I like Pro Aim a lot, but I haven't tested out that other manufacturers. One last tip I would like to give you is, if you haven't bought any accessory or DSLR toy yet and you are planning to buy one, then start with the slider. That really is a must-have for every DSLR filmmaker out there. And especially if you want to be different than all of those guys, you really want to make the cinematic films. It's a cheap solution, and that really gives you that cinematic look. Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching. In the next lesson, I'm going to talk about lenses. So I'm going to go over some zoom lenses, standard lenses, prime lenses, and all that kind of stuff. See you there.